Kang Daewon stood in front of the old garage and sighed. The building looked ready to collapse. Paint peeled from the walls and rust covered the metal door. His grandfather had died 3 months ago, leaving him this mess in an Old Soul neighborhood. Daewon needed money badly. His own auto repair shop was failing and he had debts to pay. He pulled open the heavy door. Dust flew everywhere, making him cough. Inside, boxes were stacked to the ceiling. Old electronics covered every surface. Circuit boards, wires, strange metal pieces, and tools filled the space completely. His grandfather, Kim Taejin, had been collecting junk for 50 years. Now Daewon had to clean it all out and sell whatever he could. For 3 days, Daewon sorted through the mess. Most of it was worthless. Broken radios from the 1980s, old television parts, rusty tools. He filled truck after truck with scrap metal. But on the 4th day, he found something strange. In the back corner, hidden under a torn tarp, sat a large wooden crate. Daewon pried it open with a crowbar. Inside were dozens of smaller boxes, each wrapped carefully in cloth. He opened one box and stared. A crystal sat inside, glowing faintly with blue light. It was perfectly smooth, about the size of his fist, and felt warm to the touch. The crystal seemed to pulse with energy. Daewon opened more boxes. Each contained similar crystals, but in different colors. Blue, green, purple, red. Some were small, like marbles. Others were as big as his head. He counted over 200 crystals in total. Next to the crate, he found his grandfather's old notebooks. Pages and pages of drawings filled the books. Circuit diagrams, maps, dates, and strange symbols covered every page. He sat on the dusty floor and read. His grandfather had been finding these crystals for decades. The first entry was from 1972. Grandfather Kim had found a small purple crystal in a rice field after a strange meteor shower. The next entry was from 1979. Another crystal, this time found in a mountain stream. The dates continued through the years. His grandfather had traveled all over Korea, sometimes to remote islands, sometimes to city dump sites, always searching for these glowing objects. Daewon had no idea what they were. He pulled out his phone and called Park Minji. They had been friends since childhood. Minji was smart, much smarter than him. She had studied aerospace engineering and now worked with the government team studying alien technology. 6 months ago, everything changed. Aliens arrived. Real aliens from outer space. They called themselves the Galactic Confederation. Humanity learned they were not alone in the universe. The aliens shared some technology and knowledge. Teams of human scientists worked with them, trying to understand their advanced machines. Minji was part of that team. Daewon, what's wrong? Minji answered on the second ring. Can you come to my grandfather's garage? I found something weird. I'm busy. We're studying a new power cell the aliens gave us. Minji, please. I really need your help. It's important. She heard the worry in his voice. Fine, I'll come after work. Minji arrived 3 hours later. Daewon led her to the crate. When she saw the first crystal, she froze. Her face went pale. She picked up the crystal with shaking hands, turned it over, and examined it closely. Then she dropped it back in the box and grabbed Daewon's shoulders. Where did your grandfather get these? Her voice was barely a whisper. He found them over the years. What are they? Minji ran to her car and came back with a small device. She held it near the crystals. The device beeped wildly. She checked the readings and looked at Daewon with wide eyes. These are quantum phase cores. They're alien technology. Very, very rare alien technology. What do? They store and process energy in ways we barely understand. The Confederation uses them in their most advanced ships and machines. They're incredibly hard to make. Even the aliens struggled to produce them. Minji started counting the boxes. Daewon, do you understand what this means? Each one of these is worth millions. Maybe tens of millions. Daewon felt dizzy. How did my grandfather find them? Minji picked up the notebooks and started reading. It looks like Earth has been a dumping ground for alien trash for decades. Maybe centuries. Ships passing by throw out broken equipment, failed experiments, old parts. Your grandfather must have figured out that strange objects were falling from the sky. He spent his whole life collecting them. But these work, right? They're glowing. That's the amazing part. Quantum cores don't really break. They might lose some power, but they last almost forever. Your grandfather found working alien technology just lying around in fields and dumps? Minji sat down hard on a box. Daewon, there are over 200 cores here, plus all these other components. I need to make calls. This is huge. This is bigger than huge. Wait, don't tell anyone yet. What? Why? Daewon felt a strange fear growing in his chest. If these are so valuable, what happens when people find out? The government will take them. The aliens will want them. I'll get nothing. Minji started to argue, then stopped. She thought for a moment. You're right. We need to be careful. Let me think. That night they sat in the garage and talked. Minji explained that the Confederation had rules about technology. Some things were controlled. Some things were free to trade. Property rights existed, but governments often claimed important discoveries for national security. But this is my property, Daewon said. My grandfather left it to me. That might not matter. If the government decides this is important for national security, they can take it. That's not fair. No, it's not. Minji looked at the crystals again. But maybe there's a way. I need to research Confederation law. There might be loopholes. 3 days later, Minji came back with news. But she wasn't alone. Someone had talked. A government official saw her checking records. That official made calls. Now people knew about the garage. Black cars arrived that afternoon. Men in suits stepped out. They had papers, official documents with stamps and seals. They told Daewon the crystals belonged to the Korean government now. They would compensate him fairly, they said. They would give him money for his grandfather's discovery. Daewon stood in front of the garage door and crossed his arms. No, Mr. Kang, please be reasonable. This is my property. My grandfather spent 50 years collecting these. You can't just take them. More cars arrived. These weren't from Korea. Alien vehicles landed in the street. Tall creatures in strange suits emerged. They spoke through translation devices. They represented the Confederation. The technology belonged to the galactic community, they claimed. It must be returned. Daewon looked at Minji. She looked back at him and nodded slightly. They had talked about this possibility. I'm not giving them to anyone, Daewon said loudly. Not yet. Not until I understand my rights, the standoff began. Daewon, a simple mechanic with a failing business, stood in front of a garage full of alien treasure. Around him, governments and alien civilizations gathered. All of them wanted what was inside. But Daewon was his grandfather's grandson, and his grandfather had taught him to be stubborn. The garage became the center of attention overnight. News crews camped outside. Police set up barriers to control the crowds. Korean government officials filled Daewon's phone with calls and messages. He ignored them all. Minji brought a lawyer, but the lawyer took one look at the situation and left. I handle business contracts, not international incidents, the man said nervously. On the third day, Daewon's old friend Choi Junho showed up. Junho was 42, a former Special Forces officer who now worked as a security consultant. He was big, quiet, and smart. Daewon had called him for help. You've made a mess, Junho said, looking at the cameras and government cars. I know. Can you help? What do you need? Keep them out of the garage. Keep me safe. I need time to figure this out. Junho nodded. I'll make calls. I know people. Within hours, he had a small team of private security guards around the building. They were all ex-military, all loyal to Junho. The garage became a fortress. Inside, Minji worked on her laptop while Daewon paced nervously. I've been reading Confederation law, she said. It's complicated, but there's something interesting. Individual property rights are extremely important to them. More important than government claims. Why? The Confederation has thousands of different species and planets. They all have different governments and rules. The only way to make trade work across all of them is to respect individual ownership. If you can prove something is legally yours, no one can take it without your permission. Not even governments. So the garage and everything in it is mine? Yes, your grandfather owned it. He left it to you in his will. It's clearly yours, Minji smiled. The Korean government can't just take it. And the aliens can't either. Not legally. Daewon felt hope for the first time in days. So I can tell them all to go away? Well, they won't go away. But they can't force you to give them anything. They have to negotiate. Good. Let them negotiate. The formal negotiations started a week later. They set up a meeting in a hotel conference room near the garage. Daewon sat at one end of a long table. Across from him sat government officials, alien ambassadors, and representatives from various corporations. All of them wanted the quantum cores. The Korean official spoke first. Mr. Kang, we're prepared to offer you 500 million won for the contents of the garage. That's very generous. Daewon looked at Minji. She whispered, That's about $400,000. Each core is worth at least 50 times that. No, Daewin said simply. An alien ambassador spoke next. His name was Velthar, and he looked like a tall insect with purple skin. His translation device made his voice sound mechanical. The Confederation offers 50 million galactic credits. That's equivalent to approximately 2 billion of your one. No, Daewin said again. Another alien, Kixra, leaned forward. She represented the merchant guilds. We offer 500 million credits. You would be very wealthy. No. The room erupted. Everyone started talking at once, arguing and making higher offers. Daewin sat quietly and let them fight. Yunho stood behind him like a silent wall. Minji took notes. After an hour, Daewin stood up. I'm done for today, he said, and walked out. This became the pattern. Every day they met. Every day the offers got higher. Every day Daewin said no. The news called him stubborn. Some people called him greedy. Others called him a hero standing up to powerful forces. At night, Daewin, Minji, and Junho met in the garage to talk strategy. A new person joined them. Lee Hyuna was 26, a brilliant computer programmer who Minji knew from university. Hyuna was small, wore thick glasses, and rarely spoke. But she was a genius with computers. I hacked into some Confederation databases, Hyuna said casually one night. You what? Daewin stared at her. Don't worry. They didn't notice. Their security is good, but not perfect. I found information about quantum cores. She pulled up files on her laptop. Here's the interesting part. No one knows where most of these cores come from originally. Different civilizations make them using different methods. The cores in your garage come from at least 15 different alien species. So, Daewin didn't understand why this mattered. Minji got excited. Don't you see? It would take centuries to collect cores from 15 different civilizations. You'd need to travel across the galaxy, make deals with each species, and transport them back. It's nearly impossible. But my grandfather did it, Daewin said. No, he just found them here on Earth, which means Earth has been receiving alien trash from all over the galaxy for a very long time. Your grandfather's collection isn't just valuable, it's unique. No one else has this variety of cores in one place. Hyuna nodded. And there's more. I found classified files about something called a quantum fabricator. It's a machine that can build almost anything, including more quantum cores, but no one has successfully built one because you need cores from many different sources. The cores have to work together in a specific way. Everyone was silent. Then Minji whispered, Could we build one? With the cores from the garage? Hyuna checked her files. Maybe, if we have the right types. Let me compare the list. Her fingers flew over the keyboard. Minutes passed. Then she looked up with wide eyes. Yes, you have exactly what's needed. All the right types, all the right quantities. Your grandfather's collection is perfect for building a fabricator. Daewin felt his heart pounding. What does this mean? It means you don't just have treasure, Minji said. You have the pieces to build a machine that could change everything. The next day, Daewin walked into the negotiation with a new attitude. He waited for everyone to make their offers. Then he stood up and spoke clearly. I'm not selling the quantum cores. Not to any of you. The room exploded with protests. Daewin raised his hand. I'm going to use them myself. I'm going to build something. Build what? Velthar demanded. That's my business. The cores are mine. I can do what I want with them. A military officer from the Korean government stood up angrily. You're just a mechanic. You don't have the knowledge or resources to do anything with alien technology. Maybe, but they're still mine. You can't stop me from trying. Kixra, the Merchant Guild representative, spoke calmly. Mr. Kang, please be reasonable. What could you possibly build that would be better than accepting our generous offers? Daewin smiled. It was the first time he'd smiled in weeks. Something that will make all your offers look small. He walked out of the meeting. Behind him, chaos erupted. Aliens and humans argued and shouted, but Daewin didn't care. He had a plan now. It was crazy and dangerous, but it was his plan. Junho caught up with him in the hallway. Do you really know what you're doing? No idea, Daewin admitted. But I trust Minji and Hyuna. If they say we can build this fabricator thing, then we'll try. You're going to make a lot of powerful people very angry. I know. Junho grinned. Good, I like it. That night they started planning in secret. Minji drew blueprints based on the classified files Hyuna had stolen. They would need equipment, materials, and most importantly, time. They would have to work fast before someone tried to stop them by force. Daewon looked at the quantum cores glowing softly in their boxes. His grandfather had spent 50 years gathering these pieces without knowing what they were for. Now Daewon would finish what his grandfather unknowingly started. He just hoped they could build the fabricator before the world, and the galaxy, decided to take it from him by force. The garage transformed overnight. Daewon's team worked like they were in a race against time, because they were. Minji brought equipment from her lab, sneaking it out piece by piece. Hyuna set up computers and monitors on every surface. Yoonho's security team kept watch outside, turning away anyone who tried to enter. They covered the windows with thick curtains so no one could see inside. Minji taped blueprints to the walls, complex diagrams that Daewon barely understood. The quantum cores sat arranged on a large table in the center of the garage, organized by color and size. "Okay," Minji said on the first day. "Building a quantum fabricator is like building the most complicated machine ever created. These cores are the heart of it. We need to connect them in a specific pattern, create a containment field, and add processing units." "In simple words?" Daewon asked. "We're building a 3D printer that works at the atomic level. It can arrange atoms to create anything we program it to make, including more quantum cores," Daewon whistled. "No wonder everyone wants this technology. The hard part is connecting everything correctly. One mistake and the whole thing could explode. Or worse, create a tiny black hole." "That's comforting," Junho muttered from where he stood guard at the door. They worked 18 hours a day. Minji directed the construction while Hyuna programmed the control systems. Daewon did the physical work, connecting wires and assembling parts. His years as a mechanic proved useful. He had steady hands and understood how pieces fit together. On the third day, they hit their first major problem. The blueprint called for a specific type of connector piece. They needed 12 of them. They had 11. "Can we order one?" Daewon asked. Minji shook her head. "This part doesn't exist on Earth. It's alien technology. We'd have to get it from the Confederation, and they'd want to know why. So we're stuck? I don't know. Let me think." They sat in frustrated silence. Outside, they could hear protesters chanting. More people arrived every day, some supporting Daewon, others demanding he hand over the alien technology. News helicopters circled overhead constantly. Daewon picked up his grandfather's notebooks and flipped through them. The old man had been so resourceful, finding alien technology with nothing but patience and curiosity. He'd worked with simple tools and basic knowledge, yet he'd accomplished something no one else had. An idea formed in Daewon's mind. "What does this connector do?" Minji explained. "It transfers quantum data between cores. It has to handle incredible amounts of energy without degrading. What if we made our own? Using Earth technology? Impossible. We don't have materials that can handle that much energy. But what if we use multiple simple parts instead of one complex part? Like, instead of one super strong connector, what if we use 10 regular connectors working together?" Minji stared at him. Actually, that might work. It's crude, but the math could work. We'd need to program the load balancing carefully. Can you do that?" Daewon asked Hyuna. Hyuna nodded without looking up from her computer. Easy. They spent the next day building Daewon's solution. He used copper wiring, circuit boards from old computers, and parts from his own garage workshop. It looked ugly compared to the sleek alien components, but when they tested it, the connector worked. It actually worked better than expected. "Human engineering," Junho said proudly. "We're good at making things work with whatever we have." But success brought new problems. On day 7, Minji's supervisor called her. "Park, Minji, you haven't been to work all week." "Where are you?" "I'm sick," she lied. "That's strange. Someone saw you entering Kang Daewon's garage yesterday. Are you helping him?" Minji's blood went cold. "I'm just visiting a friend." "You need to come to the office immediately. We need to discuss your security clearance." She hung up and told the others. "They're suspicious. They might try to arrest me." "Can they do that?" Daewon asked. "If they think I'm stealing classified information, yes." Junho made a phone call. 20 minutes later, a lawyer arrived. A real lawyer this time, one who specialized in international law. "Ms. Park hasn't broken any laws," the lawyer explained to Minji's supervisor over the phone. "She's on personal leave, and what she does in her private time is her business." It bought them time, but not much. They worked faster. Days blurred together. They ate cold food, slept in chairs, and barely spoke except to coordinate their work. The fabricator slowly took shape. It was the size of a small car, a complex assembly of quantum cores, wiring, processing units, and containment fields. On day 15, they ran into another problem. The containment field wouldn't stabilize. Energy kept fluctuating wildly. Minji tried everything she could think of. Nothing worked. The cores are fighting each other, she said tiredly. They're from different civilizations built with different methods. They don't want to work together. Like people, Daewon said. What? Different people from different places, they often fight at first. But humans figured out how to work together eventually. We found common ground. Cores aren't people, Daewon, but the comment made Hyuna think. She started analyzing the quantum signatures of each core. They each operate on slightly different frequencies, she said. Like different languages. What if we create a translation layer, a buffer that lets them communicate? It took 3 more days, but Hyuna's solution worked. She programmed an AI system that adjusted each core's output to match the others. The fabricator stopped fighting itself. Outside, the situation grew worse. More alien ships arrived in orbit. The Korean government declared a state of emergency in the neighborhood. Junho's security team reported people trying to sneak close to the garage at night. Some were spies, others were thieves hoping to steal a quantum core. We need to finish soon, Junho warned. I don't know how much longer we can keep everyone out. On day 23, they were almost done. Just the final connections remained. Daewon's hand shook as he attached the last wire. Minji checked every connection 3 times. Hyuna uploaded the final programs. They stood back and looked at what they'd built. The fabricator hummed softly, cores glowing inside its frame. It looked beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Ready? Minji asked. What if it explodes? Daewon said nervously. Then we'll die instantly so we won't feel it. That's not helpful. Just turn it on, Daewon. He pressed the activation button. The fabricator roared to life. The cores blazed with light. Energy crackled between the connections. The whole garage shook. Then gradually everything stabilized. The shaking stopped. The noise faded to a gentle hum. It worked. The fabricator was running. We need to test it, Minji said. She programmed in the design for a simple quantum core. The fabricator's internal chamber glowed bright white. Atoms rearranged themselves at incredible speed. 5 minutes later, a small blue crystal sat in the output tray. Minji picked it up with trembling hands. She tested it with her device. It's perfect. A complete, functional quantum core. We just built something the entire galaxy struggles to make. They all stood in shocked silence. Then Hyuna spoke quietly. The fabricator just sent out a massive quantum signature. Anyone with sensors within several light years would have detected it. Meaning? Hunyo asked. Meaning everyone now knows what we built. As if on cue, alarms started blaring outside. Hunyo looked at his phone and cursed. Multiple alien ships just entered Earth's atmosphere. They're heading here. Daewon looked at the fabricator, then at his friends. They'd done it. They'd actually done it. But now came the hard part. Lock the doors, he said. No one gets in. Not until we figure out what to do next. The siege was about to begin. The alien ships landed in the street outside the garage. Some were small, like cars. Others were huge, blocking out the sun. Creatures of every shape and size emerged. The Korean military surrounded the area, but they looked nervous. Their weapons were useless against alien technology. Inside the garage, Daewon and his team watched on security monitors that Hyuna had set up. Junho's men had locked and barricaded every entrance. The fabricator hummed quietly in the center of the room, still producing quantum cores. We're trapped, Minji said quietly. We're safe, Junho corrected. This building is solid. They can't break in easily. They could destroy the whole building from orbit, Hyuna pointed out. That would destroy the fabricator too. They won't risk it. A massive alien appeared on all the monitors simultaneously. It was Captain Brilon, commander of the Confederation patrol fleet. He looked like a bear crossed with a lizard covered in dark scales. His voice boomed from speakers. Kang Daewon, you have built illegal technology. Surrender the fabricator immediately or we will take it by force. Daewon picked up a microphone connected to external speakers. The fabricator is on my property. You have no right to take it. This technology is too dangerous for a primitive species. You don't understand what you've created. I understand perfectly, and I'm not giving it to you. Ambassador Velthar appeared next, his insect-like face filling the screen. Mr. Kang, please listen to reason. The quantum fabricator could destabilize galactic economy. It could start wars. Please, for the good of everyone, hand it over to the Confederation. We'll ensure it's used responsibly. Like you've used everything else responsibly? Daewon shot back. You've kept this technology from everyone to maintain control. That's not responsible. That's just greedy. Trade Minister Kixra tried next. We'll make you rich beyond imagination. Name any price, any amount. Just give us the fabricator. I don't want your money. Then what do you want? Daewon paused. He'd been thinking about this since they started building. I want humanity to be treated as equals. Real equals, not as primitive newcomers you can push around. Impossible, Brilon said. Your species is too young, too inexperienced, then we'll learn. But we're keeping the fabricator. The alien transmission cut off. Silence fell over the garage. Then Huna's computer started beeping. They're trying to hack our systems. They want to shut down the fabricator remotely. Her fingers flew across the keyboard. Not happening. I'm isolating our network. She worked for several minutes, then smiled. We're offline now. Air-gapped. They can't touch us digitally. But physical threats continued. Soldiers surrounded the building. Alien weapons charged up, aimed at the garage. The Korean government announced that if Daewon didn't surrender in 24 hours, they would storm the building. That night, something unexpected happened. People started arriving, hundreds of them at first, then thousands. Regular citizens from Seoul and beyond. They formed a human wall around the garage, standing between Daewon and the military forces. Let him keep it, someone shouted. It's his property. Another yelled, don't let them bully us. The crowd grew bigger. News spread around the world. People everywhere debated what was happening. Some said Daewon was being selfish. Others called him a hero standing up to alien oppression. But most agreed on one thing. The garage and everything in it belonged to him legally, and no one had the right to take it by force. Scientists from around the world started posting research online. They shared everything they knew about quantum technology freely, trying to help Daewon's team improve the fabricator. Universities offered support. Private companies offered resources. It's like the whole world is on our side, Minji said, watching the news. Not the whole world, Junho pointed out, but enough. On the third day of the siege, Kixra requested a private negotiation. Just her and Daewon speaking through video. Daewon agreed. The alien merchant appeared on screen. Mr. Kang, I want to speak honestly. You've created something remarkable. Against all odds, with primitive tools and basic knowledge, you built a functioning quantum fabricator. Do you understand how impressive that is? Thank you, Daewon said carefully. Every major civilization in the galaxy has tried to build fabricators. Most failed. Those who succeeded keep the technology locked away, controlled by governments and corporations. But you humans, you're different. You built one in a garage with spare parts, and what's your point? My point is that you've proven something the Confederation didn't want to believe. Humans are more capable than we thought, more creative, more resourceful. It's frightening, honestly. So you want to destroy the fabricator? Some do, but I'm a merchant. I see opportunity. The fabricator changes everything. Scarcity of quantum cores has controlled galactic politics for centuries. Entire wars have been fought over core production facilities. But now, suddenly, someone can build a machine in their garage that produces them. Daewon started to understand. You're afraid the fabricator will make quantum cores worthless. Not worthless, but common. Available to everyone. That changes power structures. It changes who controls what. Many powerful beings will lose their advantage. Good, Daewon said firmly. Kixra laughed, a strange clicking sound. You say that now, but you don't understand galactic politics. Those powerful beings won't just accept this. They'll try to stop you. They'll try to destroy you and the fabricator. Let them try. You're brave. Foolish but brave. She leaned closer to the camera. Here's what I propose. Give the fabricator to the Confederation. In exchange, Earth becomes a full member immediately. Not in 100 years. Not in 1,000 years now, today. Full voting rights. Full protection. Full access to all galactic knowledge and technology. It was a huge offer. Earth had been told it would take centuries to qualify for full membership. But Daewon hesitated. And what happens to the fabricator? He asked. It would be studied, kept safe, used carefully to avoid destabilizing everything. Kept locked away, you mean? Controlled by the same people who've always controlled it. Yes, Kixra admitted. Because that's how power works. Control the rare resources, control everything. Daewon shook his head. No deal. You're making a mistake. Maybe, but it's my mistake to make. The transmission ended. Minji looked worried. You just turned down Earth's best chance at full membership. I know, but I have a different idea. Over the next 2 days, Daewon talked to his team constantly. They argued and debated. Yunhyo thought Daewon was crazy. Minji said it was too risky. Only Hyuna supported the plan immediately. It's the only way that makes sense, she said. Otherwise, we're just trading one group of controllers for another. Finally, Daewon made his decision. He asked for a public transmission that would broadcast to every alien ship, every government, and every news station on Earth. They gave it to him. Daewon stood in front of the camera. Behind him, the fabricator hummed. He spoke clearly and simply. My name is Kang Daewon. I built this quantum fabricator using technology my grandfather collected. For the past week, everyone has been trying to buy it, steal it, or force me to give it up. But I'm not doing any of those things. He took a deep breath. Instead, I'm giving the fabricator plans away. To everyone. For free. The world went silent. Hyuna? Daewon nodded to her. She pressed a button. Immediately, the complete blueprints for the quantum fabricator uploaded to every major server. Every scientific database, every public forum on Earth and in Confederation networks. Anyone can build one now. Daewon continued. Any civilization, any person, any group. The technology is free. No one controls it. No one owns it. Everyone has equal access. Chaos erupted outside. Aliens shouted in dozens of languages. Human officials screamed into phones. But Daewon kept talking. In exchange for this gift, I ask one thing. Earth becomes a full member of the Confederation immediately. Equal rights, equal protection, equal access to everything. That's my price. He turned off the camera. Did I just make things better or worse? He asked his team. No one answered. They didn't know. But the standoff was over. Now everyone had to deal with the consequences. The first hour after Daewon released the fabricator plans was pure chaos. Alien ships filled Earth's orbit, their crews arguing violently. Some wanted to attack immediately, to destroy Earth before the fabricator plans spread too far. Others saw opportunity. A few actually laughed, finding the whole situation amusing. Inside the garage, Daewon and his team waited nervously. Junho's security guards stood ready, though they knew their weapons wouldn't matter if the aliens decided to attack. Hyuna monitored communications, listening to the galaxy react to what they'd done. Scientists on 15 planets have already started building fabricators, she reported. The plans are spreading faster than anyone can stop them. Some governments are trying to block access, but it's too late. The information is everywhere. Minji paced back and forth. You realize what you've done? You've destroyed the entire galactic economic system. Good, Daewon said quietly. It was a bad system. People are going to suffer. Businesses will collapse. Governments built around core trade will fail. And new ones will form. Better ones, hopefully. An emergency session of the Confederation Council began. Representatives from 1,000 worlds gathered virtually to debate. The meeting was broadcast publicly. Earth watched as the galaxy argued about their fate. Some aliens demanded Earth's destruction. They're dangerous. Too unpredictable. Remove them before they cause more damage. Others disagreed. They found a loophole in our economic control system. That's not a crime. That's intelligence. Ambassador Velthar spoke for hours trying to find middle ground. The human Kang Daewon has made an offer. Free technology in exchange for Earth's full membership. We must consider this carefully. Never, shouted a representative from a core-producing world. They've destroyed our economy. Why should we reward them? But Trade Minister Kixra surprised everyone. She stood and spoke clearly. Because we have no choice. The plans are already public. Fabricators will be built across the galaxy within weeks. Fighting about it is pointless. The question is, do we accept this change gracefully or violently? The humans must pay for what they've done. Pay how? Kixra challenged. Destroy Earth? Then your murderers and the fabricator plan still exist. Force them to pay money? They have no money. They're a young species with one planet. Attack them? You'll turn them into martyrs and make enemies of every civilization that supports free technology. So we do nothing? No, we accept their offer. Give Earth full membership. Make them part of the system. That way they're bound by our laws and customs. They become responsible partners instead of dangerous outsiders. The debate continued for 3 days. During that time, the first non-Earth fabricators began operating. A small scientific colony built one successfully, then a merchant ship crew, then a university on a distant planet. Each success made it clearer that the technology couldn't be controlled anymore. Finally, the vote happened. Earth's full membership in the Confederation passed by a narrow margin. Many civilizations voted against it, angry about the economic disruption. But enough voted in favor, seeing the practical reality. When the news reached Earth, people celebrated in the streets. Seoul erupted in joy. The crowd outside Daewon's garage cheered so loud that the garage walls shook. Daewon sat quietly inside, feeling tired and overwhelmed. Minji sat next to him. "We did it. You did it. Did I do the right thing?" "I don't know. Ask me in 100 years. Junho brought food and drinks. The military is pulling back. The alien ships are leaving. You're safe now." Hyuna looked up from her computer. "The Confederation wants to make you an official ambassador. They're offering you a position in their economic council." "No thanks," Daewon said immediately. "No, I'm a mechanic. I fix things. That's what I'm good at." "You just changed galactic civilization. You're more than a mechanic now." "No, I'm still just a mechanic who got lucky. My grandfather did all the hard work. He spent 50 years collecting pieces without knowing why. I just put them together." In the weeks that followed, the galaxy transformed. Quantum fabricators appeared everywhere. The price of quantum cores dropped dramatically. Technologies that had been rare and expensive became common. Ships that only the wealthy could afford were now available to middle-class families. Some civilizations struggled with the change. Economies based on scarcity collapsed. Powerful corporations lost their monopolies. Governments that controlled core production lost their leverage over other worlds. There was pain and disruption, but there was also opportunity. Young civilizations that had been kept poor by expensive technology suddenly had access to everything. Scientific research accelerated as materials became affordable. New industries formed. Different types of businesses emerged based on service and creativity, rather than controlling rare resources. Earth benefited enormously. As full Confederation members, humans gained access to libraries of knowledge, medical technology that could cure diseases, engineering techniques for better buildings and machines, agricultural methods to feed more people, transportation systems that made space travel routine. But more importantly, Earth gained respect. The galaxy had thought humans were primitive and simple. Daewon proved them wrong. Humans weren't the most advanced species, but they were creative, stubborn, and willing to take risks. Those qualities mattered. 6 months after the fabricator's release, Daewon stood in his garage. It looked different now. The fabricator was gone, donated to a museum. The quantum cores were gone too, used up in the building process. The garage was just a garage again, filled with regular tools and ordinary machines. A small alien shuttle landed outside. A child emerged, maybe 8 years old in human terms. The child's species looked like a bird with 4 arms. She approached Daewon shyly. "Are you Kang Daewon?" she asked through a translation device. "Yes. The one who gave away the fabricator? That's me. Why did you do it? You could have been the richest person in the galaxy." Daewon thought about how to explain it simply. "My grandfather taught me something. He collected all those quantum cores, but he never tried to sell them or hoard them. He just kept searching, kept learning, kept being curious. He shared his knowledge by writing it all down in his notebooks. He didn't know the cores were valuable. He just thought they were interesting. I don't understand. The best things in life aren't the things you keep for yourself. They're the things you share so others can build something even better. My grandfather shared his curiosity with me. I shared the fabricator with the galaxy. Now everyone can build better things." The child thought about this. "My parents say your grandfather was very wise. He was just curious. But maybe that's the same thing." The child's parents called her back to the shuttle. Before she left, she gave Daewon a small gift. It was a quantum core, but special. It had been made using a fabricator built from his plans, and it glowed with colors he'd never seen before. A new type of core, improved by someone else using the foundation he'd provided. "Someone will probably build something even better with this," the child said. "I hope so," Daewon replied. The shuttle left. Daewon returned to his garage and got back to work. A broken alien vehicle needed repairs. The owner was a merchant from a distant world who'd heard that Daiwan was good at fixing things. Above Earth, ships from hundreds of worlds came and went freely. Humans traveled to other planets. Aliens visited Earth. The galaxy had changed, still changing, still adapting to the new reality of abundant technology. In governments and corporations across 1,000 worlds, beings still debated whether Daiwan's action had been wise or foolish. Economists wrote papers about the disruption. Historians argued about the long-term effects. But in workshops and garages across the galaxy, people were building things. New inventions appeared daily. Technology advanced faster than ever before. Problems that seemed impossible were being solved by beings who finally had access to the tools they needed. Daiwan didn't think much about his place in history. He worked on the broken vehicle, getting grease on his hands, solving mechanical problems the way his grandfather taught him, one piece at a time, one problem at a time, with curiosity, patience, and a willingness to try things that might not work. Park Minji stopped by that evening. She was tired from her new job coordinating Earth's scientific exchanges with other worlds. "Do you ever regret it?" she asked. "Giving everything away?" Daiwan looked around his simple garage. He thought about the money he could have had, the power, the influence. Then he thought about the alien child with her improved quantum core. He thought about the millions of beings across the galaxy who now had access to technology that could improve their lives. "No," he said simply, "I don't regret it." "Good, because they want to name a space station after you. Please don't. Too late. It's already approved. The Kang Daiwan Research Station. It'll orbit Mars," Daiwan groaned, but he smiled. His grandfather would have found this funny. A man who spent his life collecting alien garbage honored across the galaxy. It was absurd, but then again his whole story was absurd. A mechanic from Seoul changed galactic civilization because he was too stubborn to give up his grandfather's collection, because he believed in sharing instead of hoarding, because he thought humans deserved a chance to prove themselves. The forgotten garage in Old Seoul was famous now, a historical site that tourists visited. But to Daiwan,